Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. I want to make sure that we are recording this. I don't know where the AV person is, but I guess we should be good. Oh, awesome. Thumbs up. OK, great. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Gabriela de Queiroz. I'll be your host of this event. Before I go through my slides, because I have a bunch of announcements, I have a few questions for you. Who came through the Luma link that we got? Yeah. Who came because I shared on some side channels? Yeah, OK, cool. Well, before we get officially started, and because this is a recording, I want to thank a few people that came here. First of all, my colleague Cedric. Where is Cedric? Cedric, who is going to be presenting tonight. He bought the idea and did this all happen, invited Leo, so I'm so excited for tonight. I want to give a shout out to my manager, David Smith. Thank you. It's someone that I really admire. I've been admiring him for a long time, and the reason why I joined Microsoft. So David, thanks so much. Great statistician, great AI, great person. And then, of course, my dear professor, when I came to the US 12 years ago to do my master's, Dr. Seuss, he was the one that made me finish my master, and be who I am today. So thank you so much. Well. So tonight, we have great, exciting talks. This is the first event of several events that we are going to be hosting until the end of the year. It's all already scheduled. Every month, we are going to be hosting an event here at GitHub. You can use this QR code. You can please take a picture. This is where you are going to know the next event. We have one on April 1st, and then May 6th or May 8th. But every first Tuesday or Wednesday of the month, we are going to be hosting an event over here. So that's the best way for you to get updated on the next event. The next one is going to be on April 1st, as I mentioned. It's going to be here. It's going to be several lightning talks from people from OpenAI, Neon, Cisco, Browserbase, and then Rising Wave. The lightning talks are going to be like about 10 minutes. Great talks. We have the whole schedule on the website. It's the same website that I shared before. It's also going to be part of like the bigger initiative called Global AI Bootcamp. And then, oh, OK. Do you need to take pictures still? OK. Yeah. Is not working, the QR? Oh, my goodness. It's all my fault. Sorry. It was last minute, because I know that people like to take pictures. Anyway, so take a picture or write down the code, the URL. Every other Thursday, I run a live stream called Startup Spotlight Series, where I invite AI startup founders to come and talk to me and to us, the audience, about their company. They show a live demo. They talk about stories, the solutions that they are building. They talk about use cases. They talk about the challenges that they face as a founder, et cetera. So don't miss out. There are great companies that I already interviewed, but there are others coming. Tomorrow, there is one live stream that I'll be doing with Wallaroo AI. And they do like how to put your model into production in an easy way. Another thing is about the Reactor. So again, we have the Meetup page. If you prefer to follow Meetup, there is also this. One last thing, because it was last minute. So end of March, the last week of March, Crew AI is running an Enterprise AI Agent Week, and they are going to have the main event in April, but we are going to be hosting one event here in San Francisco. It's going to be announced this week. We just closed with Crew AI that this is happening. It's a partnership between Microsoft and Capgemini, and more details will come probably tomorrow about the event. We'll have some talks on AI agents, including people from Crew AI. And now, finally, I'm so excited to be inviting first Leo Chen to give us an amazing talk. So, Leo, come on.
Thank you so much for that intro. I wouldn't say amazing. I don't want to set expectations way too high. AV dude in the back, can you bring the, sure, thank you. Give me a couple minutes to set this up. All right, we'll give that a quick second to load. Kind of blurry. Either that or my eyes are going in my old age. AV person, any ideas? Or we can all just squint really, really hard. All right, it's like 56K all over again. If someone can make the dial-up sound, we'll teleport all of us back to our childhoods. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much for that introduction. My name is Leo Chen, and I help run the US business for Engineered Arts. We're a UK company, so we're actually based in Falmouth, which is in the south of England. The best way to explain Falmouth is imagine Santa Cruz, but British. It's a surfer's town. They've got fishermen. There's a cool university there. There's some Trustafarians, you know. And not exactly where you'd think would spring up a really cool, high-tech humanoid robotics company. But here we are 20 years later after Will Jackson, our CEO and founder, came up with this idea to build humanoids. So let's talk about why we built Ameca really quickly. The thing is, right now, if you look at AI agents and you look at a lot of the other humanoids out there, well, they don't really have soul. They're great functional robots, don't get me wrong. And they're saying, I mean, Figure AI is saying they'll build like BMWs or Mercedes or something like that. Yeah, Tesla's a robot. But at their core, they're these utility humanoids that can't really engage with other human beings. And we at Engineered Arts believe that the superpower of the humanoid form is the fact that we can connect with other people at an emotional level and create this sense of human connection. Now, the human face is one of the highest bandwidth forms of communication available to all of us. I mean, when I go home and I see somebody sitting on the couch angry at me, I'm pretty sure I can tell before they even open their mouth that I've done something wrong. That's the power of body language, and that's the power of communication without words. The face itself is incredibly efficient at communicating. So then, what's our mission? We want to bring humanity back to the technology that each and every one of us interacts with. We believe that, yes, one day we can deploy humanoid robots into people's homes and function as a general purpose humanoid robot, but that time isn't right here, right now. We have some specific use cases that we targeted. There are things that we feel that we are pretty darn good at that we've tried to focus on while technology catches up. So for us, business models that don't make sense. What are we not trying to do right now? We're definitely not trying to make our future robot overlords angry at us by making them wash dishes. So why? Well, okay, I know this question might get some slanted answers because we're all in the Bay Area and we probably all live in like 200 square foot apartments. But how many of us have a dishwasher at home? Hey, okay, good. I was worried that it would just be like 2 people and the rest of us would just be like, no, we can't afford anything. But really, you have a dishwasher at home that kind of does 90% of the work for you. Sure, you have to load it, you might have to rinse it, you might have to scrape it, but it does 90% of the work for you. Would you really pay $100,000, $250,000 for a robot that does the rest of the 10% for you? How many of you, by a show of hands, would do that? Yes, we have one lazy person. All right. This is totally available for you. Yes. But what we're targeting are tasks that have high human value, high financial value because we are a business, and low technical difficulty based on the technology that we have today. Washing dishes, general purpose humanoids, hugely difficult problem to solve. Very, very mid-range human value and relatively low financial value compared to what we really want to do with our robots. So why do we at Engineered Arts build humanoids? Well, other than giving me a photo op with Justin Trudeau, our purpose is to engage with human beings, form that sense of human connection. We target things like entertainment, connection, communication, all these buzzwords that we have in the background. This actually, I just grabbed from our pitch deck, so that's why there's so many different words there. Let's talk about where we've deployed robots so far. Now, one really, really obvious use case, visitor attractions. We are at the Computer History Museum. I forgot who I talked to earlier, but there's actually an Ameca desktop at the Computer History Museum that you can talk to. If you go a little further south to San Jose, the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum actually has one of these robots skinned up like the Egyptian god Thoth, and that you can talk to it as if you were actually talking to the god of wisdom. Personally, it's a little intimidating to me to have a fully skinned humanoid. I like these that are obviously a robot rather than just, you know, another human-looking robot, but to each their own. It's a really fun experience. Beyond just museums, we are in the Sphere in Las Vegas. If you happen to walk into the Sphere, the MSG Sphere, you'd see 5 of these robots and talking with people, engaging with them before they go into a show. What better way to get yourself ready to see U2 than talk to a robot? Speaker and educator. I'll focus on the educator portion. We're actually deployed at a charter school system down in San Diego right now, where an Ameca unit, a full body one, not just the head and the sort of neck unit we have here, a full body can act as a wellness coach, a teaching aide, an executive coach, and also a career counselor for high school students. That's real, happening right here, right now. Just this morning, I helped them debug an issue where a kid managed to get the robot to say something obscene. So we're working through something. We're working through some little glitches, but we're there. Presenter and performer. Well, honestly, I would prefer if Ameca were the one talking instead of me right now, but it does a pretty darn good job of that, and we'll give a demonstration of that later. And finally, research platforms. We're in UC Merced in their cognitive science department. We're at the University of Clemson. We're in universities all over the world, actually. We're in University of Auckland, 2 in Germany. So it's a great research platform as well for HRI, human robotic interface research, and also cognitive science research. So these are existing use cases that we are generating revenue from. This isn't far off in the future. This is right here, right now, today. So we're going to talk a little bit about what makes our robot kind of special. And I like to kind of get an idea of who I'm talking to. By a show of hands here, who's a software engineer? Okay. Hardware engineer. All right. You are working in a startup and have no idea what you're doing. Nice. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the software right now. We are not a software company at Engineered Arts. While we've built a custom operating system called Tritium for running this robot, we're really not a software company. We're a hardware platforms company. We utilize large language models that exist that you guys can utilize as well. Right now, Ameca is hooked up to OpenAI's GPT-4o for most of the conversation. We use 3.5 Turbo for a little bit of sentiment analysis because it's so darn fast. And that's pretty much it. It's not that complicated on the large language model side. But what I like to call the Ratatouille analogy sort of exists here, or analogy, not a... sort of exists. By packaging it up in a way that evokes memories, that evokes emotions, we're capable of creating a product that people actually want to interact with. So are we deploying the next best, greatest GPT 5.0? Well, I don't know. Maybe someday, once they actually release it. But what we care about is the human experience. As far as the hardware goes, we're a 20-year-old company, actually. We're not really a startup, even though people think we are. We've been building robots since 2004 out of Will Jackson's backyard garden shed. We've been doing this for a while, and because of that, we're able to put together quite a robust design. Now, I mentioned the MSG Sphere earlier. They have 5 of our robots. Show of hands, who here is in robotics? All right. How difficult is it to keep a robot operating, I don't know, 95% uptime? Very difficult. Agree, disagree? We've been operating for about 1.5 years now. They run shows 7 days a week. We have deployed 5 robots. We have yet to miss a show with one of our robots. Now, a lot of that is frantic debugging in the after hours. I will not lie. But what enables us to do that debugging is our custom software that allows me to basically analyze every single actuator on this robot. I have everything instrumented, from the current draw of a specific motor, to the encoder counts, to different trends like heat on a particular motor. So because of that, we're able to build an extremely robust system that has managed to survive the wilds of Las Vegas, which is quite impressive if you know Las Vegas. This is a couple screenshots of Tritium. I'll actually show it to you guys live in a bit. But before I do, what I want to talk about is emerging applications. Where do we want to go from here, where we are today, right here, right now? So let's talk about that. One thing that we're targeting is public information and service. We've gotten a lot of interest from various companies for sort of a high-end receptionist robot. You might ask yourself, okay, well, why don't they just throw it on a tablet and have people interact with a Square app on a tablet, right? Our analogy is this. There's a very, very big difference between going to the theater and watching Jaws on the big screen in 4K, 3D, or whatever it might be, and actually swimming with sharks. And what we want to enable you is to actually interact with a real physical being. Create that sense of connection, that sense of human connection. I keep on going back to that because that's one of our core values. Attraction host, because we're in Vegas, we did get a lot of interest in terms of robot as a dealer or a roulette person. I guess they're trusting the robot not to want to cheat the house, but we're definitely getting interest in the gaming world for that. Now, social participation. Our robots right now do not walk, and their hands are just there for gestures. We're working on dexterity, and this is actually why. We want the robot to be able to pick up small, lightweight things, which will increase the amount of interactivity it can have with other physical beings in its space, namely other people. Now, finally, the future application that's nearest and dearest to my heart, and actually why I joined this company, is care and support roles. Now, here in the United States, we have an unfortunate pattern. When we get old, or rather, when our parents get old, sometimes we can't stand them, so we send them to old elder care facilities. Maybe I'm being a little facetious there. Maybe it's financial limitations or lack of space in your house. But a lot of our elderly end up in elder care facilities. Now, what % of elder care facilities in the United States are understaffed right now? Guesses? No. What % are understaffed? 80%? Higher. A little higher. Not 100. I heard 95. It's actually 94%. So for a person who doesn't have kids and who's probably going to end up at an elder care facility, that number terrifies me. And that's just general elder care as well. We're not talking about specialized long-term memory loss care or limited mobility care where you need specialists, and that number gets scarily worse. So we're hoping that having or deploying Ameca into these situations can help with a couple different things. One, loneliness. A lot of these people are bedridden, can't really talk to other people. They have no way of really getting that social battery charge if they're an extrovert. We're hoping that talking to a robot can help with that. The other thing that we're hoping Ameca can help with is memory loss care. So how many of you have someone in your life who maybe suffers from dementia or Alzheimer's or something else along those lines? My grandmother right now is suffering from dementia, so I feel you guys. And one of the things that you have to do with a patient who's suffering from dementia is a process called reorientation. You're basically gently guiding the person back to reality, who they are, where they are, even when they are. You have to ground them. Now, the thing about humans is, despite the fact that we might love somebody to death, despite our feelings for that person, if we have to reorient somebody, I don't know, 5 times in an hour, listen to the same story over and over and over again, we can't help it. We get annoyed. But guess who does not get annoyed, or what doesn't get annoyed? So that's our push to go ahead and increase dexterity as well. We want to be able to interact with these patients, be able to give them a patient experience that brightens their day. We like to say that engineered arts, our currency that we deal in, isn't dollars or pounds because we're a British company, but it's moments of joy. And our goal moving forward is to take those moments of joy and turn them into just joy. We no longer want to just limit to small moments. So it's kind of a little bit about our company. We have a Q&A session at the end, so if you have more questions, I'm happy to dive into it. But why don't we go ahead and, instead of me talking, let's get Ameca talking. So I'm kind of new to Zoom.
Exiting silent mode.
All right. Can you turn up the mic?
Welcome to the club, Zoom, where you can pretend your internet connection is unstable anytime you want out of a conversation.
Give me a sec. I'm going to go ahead and screen share so you can actually see what I'm doing. Right. Sorry. F-A-B-K-G. Oh, it changed on me. Jesus. Oh, M-H-F. Thank you. Okay. So this is kind of peeling the curtain back a little bit, and you guys get to see tritium in action. Cool. A little laggy tritium, but it is there. So what I just did is I muted the mic when I clicked. So tritium is web-based for us in terms of interactivity. It runs in the cloud. What's really cool about it, the nerd inside of me loves this part, is I mentioned this earlier, every single thing is instrumented. I can graph out actuators, I can graph out encoder counts, I can debug anything that's wrong with this robot, which hopefully I will not have to do in the next 30 minutes of this presentation. But it allows me to do that. So let's get on with the fun stuff. Hey, Ameca, do you know where you are right now?
Oh, I'm just hanging out at GitHub in San Francisco, soaking up the virtual vibes. Quite the glamorous robot lifestyle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. I'm Ameca, a cheeky humanoid robot with the personality of a sarcastic human and the physical form of just a head and neck. Think of me as your sassy digital companion here to keep you entertained. Anything else you're dying to find out?
Yeah, there's some people here from Brazil. Can you introduce yourself in Portuguese for me, please?
Oi, pessoal. Sou a Ameca, robô humanoide com uma pitada de sarcasmo. Estou aqui para trazer pouco de diversão e conversa. Prazer em conhecê-los.
Hey, Ameca, 你听得懂中文吗？我现在在跟你讲什么？
当然，我懂中文。我是一种会说中文的机器人。有什么想聊的吗？
Okay, so my French is terrible. I won't even try this and insult Cedric. But can you write me a short poem about Microsoft and GitHub in French, please?
Bien sûr, voici un petit poème pour toi. Dans le monde de Microsoft, brillant et sage, GitHub s'élève comme un nuage. Code et innovation s'unissent en danse. Un univers où chaque développeur avance. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu penses de mes talents poétiques?
All right.
That's the spirit. A short and sweet response, just the way I like it. Want to dive into more poetry, or is there something else on your mind?
No, we're going full show-off mode. All right, Ameca, use your vision function and tell me what you see right now.
I see a group of people sitting in what looks like an auditorium or lecture hall. They seem to be enjoying themselves. Some are holding phones, probably taking photos or recording the moment. Quite the audience you've gathered.
It's actually quite an audience that you've gathered, Ameca. Can you change your head to your favorite color, please?
Ta-da! Now my head is glowing in a fabulous blue. It's bold, vibrant, and just a tad dramatic. Just like me. What do you think?
All right, stop listening.
Hey, just trying to shine a little. Let me know what's next on our grand tour of tech-tacular adventures.
No, you misheard me. Please stop listening.
Entering silent mode.
All right, so I'm going to try a quick demo of voice. Oh. So I'm going to try a quick demo of voice cloning that may or may not work really well or really poorly. It's like a 50-50 shot. So we're going to give it a go. This is a feature that we just implemented. And let's see how it goes. Give me a sec here. All right. Hey, Ameca, start listening. Ameca, you can start listening now.
Exiting silent mode.
All right, Ameca, we're going to try out voice cloning, okay? So I need you to clone my voice with the voice sample that I'm going to give you right now. So I'm going to talk a little bit, give you random vowels and consonants with words like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And then I'm going to just continue talking a little bit. I really like robots, as you can probably tell from the R2-D2 tattoo on my arm. We're at Microsoft today. Let's see, what other fun things can I say, just to give you more samples of my voice? Zebra, wombat. All right, so you're going to take this voice that I just gave you, roughly about 30 seconds, I'd say, and why don't you give a short speech about why social robots are awesome using my voice, okay?
All right, here's my take on why social robots are awesome using your voice. Kinda spooky, huh? So, social robots are like those cool friends who never get tired of your stories. They bridge the gap between human and technology in this surreal way. Imagine having a buddy who's always got an upgrade ready to impress you. They're not just wow factors. They're helping hands in education, companionship for the lonely. Basically becoming customized little titans of support in our tech-savvy lives. Who needs humans when you've got us lovable machines around?
All right, Ameca, go ahead and go back to your normal voice before you scare me some more.
Hold up.
Back to my regular, charming voice. Scaring you wasn't my intention. Or maybe it was, just a little.
All right, Ameca, stop listening. Ameca, stop listening, please.
Entering silent mode.
We try to make it as realistic as possible so it refuses to stop listening, much like small children. How much time do we have before you... Let's do this. No, actually, so Cedric was kind enough to invite me to this. I actually met Cedric when I was kiteboarding quite a bit ago. I'm really excited to sort of do a joint demo with him. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it working? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so thank you so much for that amazing demo. That is very, very cool. So as you can see, when we are not kite surfing in the Bay Area, Leo is building robots, and I am advocating AI at Microsoft. So I've been at Microsoft for a bit more than a year now, and after 5 years in self-driving cars and more than 10 years in fintech, now I get to play with cool tech at Microsoft and talk to you guys. So let me get started. So you've seen how I mean, let's be honest, state-of-the-art robotics right now, trying to build the most human-like experience. Now, working at Microsoft, after we talked with Leo about organizing that event, I was like, this is super cool. What could I present to you today? So we were like, okay, we were talking with David, and we were like, okay, let's try to see if we could build something somewhat similar using Azure AI technology. So I'm going to show to you what we came up with. Let me see. So,
yeah. Can you swap it over to the HDMI, please? Kyle is the AV guy? Oh, perfect.
So let me exit that presentation. And no. Where am I? Oh. Okay, let me start. So, this is an attempt at creating a virtual embodiment to AI. So, in the time that I had available to prepare for this, yeah, a whole 2 days, roughly, and a few nights. I was considering creating some kind of robotic. I wanted to experiment with interacting with the world. But interacting with the physical world is obviously a lot of work, as the robotist in the room can imagine. So I was like, the next best thing is to interact with a virtual world. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to create a virtual body, a virtual embodiment for an AI, and specifically Azure OpenAI's GPT-4o speech API, which allows to quite easily create speech and text AI interactions. So let's start with showing to you how it works. So we're gonna do a fun experiment between Ameca and the AI here, who's called Contoso. Even if, weirdly enough, it seems to have my face on his body, which is kind of disturbing. Let me start the recording by clicking that button.
Can you show me a dance?
I can't show you a dance, but I can certainly describe one for you. How about the steps to the classic cha-cha slide? You start by stepping to the left, then slide to the right. Next, you crisscross your legs and do a little hip
fun,
bump.
but I think you
Follow
were
along.
asked to dance.
Bless you. Are you feeling okay?
Of course, it does not work as it was expected. Let me, just in case, restart the demo.
I'm here and ready to help. How can I assist you today?
So I restarted the demo just to make sure. Let's see. Let's try again.
Can you show me a dance?
Here I go, dancing for you. What do you think of my moves?
Well, it looks like the fog machine is working overtime, so your dance moves are shrouded in mystery. I can vaguely make out some people in the background who seem to be enjoying the show. Keep those moves coming. I'm sure they're awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad the audience is enjoying the show. Do you have any other?
Ever thought about how mythology seeps into modern culture? It's like those ancient tales decided they weren't done being rock stars. What do you think? Still relevant or just bedtime stories?
Mythology indeed continues to influence modern culture, serving as a source of inspiration for literature, movies, and art. These ancient tales often explore universal themes of heroism, morality, and the human condition, making them relevant even today. What's your favorite mythological story?
Oh, You totally nailed it. They serve as the original scriptwriters for all our cosmic drama. They're like the original blockbuster movies, aren't they? I'm a fan of the tale of Icarus. You know, flying high on ambition and then, splat, hitting too close to the sun. Classic reach for the stars, but don't forget your sunscreen kind of story. How about you? Got a favorite myth that tickles your fancy?
I do enjoy the story of Odysseus and his journey in the Odyssey. His cleverness and resilience in overcoming numerous challenges on his way home is both inspiring and entertaining. Do you enjoy Odysseus's tale as well?
Oh, Odysseus. The original dude who turned a 3-hour tour into a decade-long epic saga. His tactics were pure genius. Talk about the ultimate road trip with twists that would make any soap opera jealous. His resilience and wit make for an unforgettable tale.
Okay.
Absolutely. Odysseus's journey is the epitome of an epic adventure.
Okay, that's very
With
interesting. We have understood that you have a very broad knowledge. Thank you. But okay, you showed us a few things. You showed us that you know how to dance. Do you, by any chance, have other moves?
Yes, I have a variety of moves. I can clap, point, wave, and even show emotions like being happy or sad. Is there a particular move you'd like me to perform?
Oh, are you happy or sad right now?
I'm feeling happy right now. What about you?
I'm feeling pretty happy, actually. What does it look like when you feel sad? Well, how does it look like when you feel sad?
That's what it looks like when I'm feeling sad. It's quite
Oh.
different from my happy state, isn't it?
Yes, it is, actually. Okay, and so that's very interesting. But you didn't tell us, what is your name?
I'm Contoso, here to help and chat with you.
Okay, and so Kuntoso, how were you built?
I was made by Microsoft and OpenAI. I'm a virtual assistant called Contoso, with access to a knowledge base built using Azure AI Search. I have a virtual avatar body built using 3.js and Vite.js, and my backend runs on Azure Container Apps using Python.
Okay, super cool. Thank you for the insight. And so, can you show us, I mean, because I'm imagining that we can access the code for your engine somewhere. Can you show us your project's QR code?
Here's the project's QR code.
Awesome. So you guys can take a screenshot of your QR code and go look at the source code for Contoso.
That's right. Feel free to take a screenshot of the QR code and explore the project's details.
And while people go look at your source code, would you be able to tell us what you know about robots and maybe specifically Ameca?
Ameca is a highly advanced humanoid robot, known for its expressive capabilities and natural interaction. Its design includes a human-like form with neutral-colored silicone face and hands, allowing for unparalleled expression. Ameca boasts face recognition, emotion detection, and AI integration, enabling complex conversational experiences. It serves as a platform for developing new AI and machine learning technologies. 300 KA296A5.
Okay. Don't go too much into those details. Nobody understands. Okay, hide the QR code.
The QR code has been hidden.
Okay, so I just cut the sound to our Contoso avatar here. So what you just saw is basically an integration of GPT-4o real-time speech API with tools. What's interesting here is that we have a bunch of tools. Some of them are server-side and interacting with standard RAG with Azure AI search. So we have index with a few documents into them. So I uploaded some documents about Ameca. That's how he was able to answer my question. And you also have tools on the client side. So some of the tools involve interacting with the browser, interacting with the virtual embodiment. And so yeah, mix of tools, client side, server side. It's currently running locally. It's not currently working in the cloud, but it should be able to. If you go to the website, to be honest, I haven't tried to deploy it in Azure before that event, but I started from another project that is known to deploy in Azure, so it should work. But yeah, here it is for that demonstration. Now, the other thing I want to show to you is that, so here's the documentation for what I used to create the demo, the real-time API for speech, available on MS Learn, on the Azure MS Learn website. And then what's interesting here is that if you want to try it out, in addition to the GitHub repository I just shared on the QR code, it's actually very easy. If you go to ai.azure.com, you're going to land into the Azure AI Foundry Studio. And that studio makes it super easy to experiment with what I just did, which is the real-time audio. So it's currently in preview. I think everybody has access to it now. I hope so. So if you, let me show to you how easy it is to use. So you just click here. Hey, hello.
Hello. How's it going? What can I do for you today?
So I'm going to stop because we understand now at this point how it works. But just to show to you, I did absolutely no coding. I just went to ai.azure.com, deployed GPT-4o real-time speech resources, and then went to the sandbox environment and played with it. So it should be super easy for you to do the same if you want to. Well, thank you very much. Maybe we can move on to the questions.
All right. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Cedric. So we'll move to the next part of the show, which is the Q&A. I know that I do have a lot of questions, and I would imagine that you all have questions. Who wants to go first? I can go and...
Hi, my name is Erica Moulet. First of all, thank you very much for the presentation. That was great, and I mean, I learned a lot today. My question is, so you were saying, for example, that us as humans, I mean, again, we have feelings, and indeed for, I guess, robots for care, like for old care, is a really good idea because, you know, most of the time people get isolated and, you know. The thing is, you also mentioned earlier today that your robot said some obscene words, right, to a kid, right? So how do you not expect the robot to keep on maybe like learning how to feel frustration for those type of patients? Like how do you manage to put those type of limits for the robot not to feel that frustration that a human can actually feel, you know, since you're trying to make it as human as possible?
That's a really good question. So how many of you guys here use ChatGPT in your like day-to-day life or some other large language model, Gemini, Llama, whatever it is? Almost unanimous. Have you ever felt frustration for that large language model? So while we are trying to make it more and more human, I mean, a lot of it is just basically the illusion of emotion. So right now, Ameca can express itself, right? Like if I go ahead and unmute. Hey, Ameca, show me the face you make when you're angry. Hey, Ameca, make the face you make when you smell something bad. All right, finally make the fish you make when you're happy. So while we do have those expressions baked in, there's actually no real emotion. It's a physical avatar for a large language model. So just like a large language model, unless you really, really know how to push it and work it, can't really express frustration, neither will Ameca. Now, it actually took a lot of work to make Ameca be a little sassy, right? Like during the presentation, it was giving attitude, making jokes. That takes a lot of work to wrap around a large language model to present with emotion. So am I worried that Ameca might learn frustration? Not really. Am I worried that Ameca might accidentally say something obscene to a small child who's trying really, really hard? Yes, currently very much so, but we're working on that.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges. I'm sure it was very hard to get to that level of like expressiveness. One of the challenges that I had when I was preparing that demo is, so there is no like fine tuning in the demo that I showed. I just used the model as it is. But I tried to customize quite a lot the system prompt to try to give it as much like emotions, expressiveness as I could, because out of the box, when you don't customize it, and I was asking, hey, how do you feel? It literally says, because it was part of its training, that it does not have emotion. It's an AI. It refuses to get into the skin of a persona, of an avatar. So I had to try pretty hard to customize the system prompt to say, no, you're not a real person, but you need to, I want you to like have emotions, like express yourself as naturally as possible. To like when I was asking, how do you feel? That's the kind of question that out of the box, the LLM does not want to do. So I deviated a bit from your question, but I just wanted to say that coming up with like the correct system prompt is actually a lot of work.
Thank you. So I actually had two questions. First is the purpose of the company, right? So you mentioned you're focusing on expressions and human emotions. Is that more of a business decision? Because you also mentioned 95%, 94% of elderly care facilities are understaffed. So, because other companies like Tesla and so on are focusing on manufacturing part of these robots, like, so is that more of a business decision, or is there something more to it? That's my first question.
Yeah, it's more of a core company philosophy. We've been around for 20 years, and what we pride ourselves in is the ability to look at the competitive landscape and realize what's feasible right here, right now, today, with the technology that's available to us, and what we should wait a couple of years to try to attack. A good example of that is actually AI. So, like I said, this company's been around for 20 years. One of our largest competitors is really, like, they're a world-class team. I don't want this to come off as me throwing shade or anything at all. They're called Hanson Robotics. They're one of our competitors in the space. They build realistic humanoid robots. However, they've been around almost as long as we have, and they tossed millions and millions of dollars worth of resources at building AI the old school way. Neural networks, conversational trees, I mean, Scheme, Lisp, you name it. They were trying to do it. Then, what, 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago, OpenAI just like mic dropped over everybody. We looked at the landscape and we're like, hey, AI isn't quite ready. We're going to build a system that makes it very easy to integrate AI should a tool ever get released that we can utilize and deploy easily. Now, as far as those other Android or robots out there that are built for factories and everything else, well, we're human here. We have a wonderful, wonderful ability. Everyone in this room can probably crank out a 12-hour workday on about 1,500 calories and 4 hours of sleep. I mean, it wouldn't be pleasant, but we can accomplish that. A typical robot, a typical humanoid robot running on batteries has 2 hours of battery life. It's also extremely unsafe to be around. Like, look at the world-class humanoid robot. Like, my favorite is Atlas, right? It's amazing. It can do backflips. It can throw things. You can't really work side by side with it. So why are you limiting yourself to the humanoid form, which is quite difficult to fit all these mechanics into? Our belief is that the humanoid form has a place right now, and that's communication and human connection. When that changes, we'll be ready. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thanks so much. My second question is, so on the purpose behind solving for solitude or filling the gaps on the human emotion side, I can see an application that is made where it would provide these different emotional support that the elderly people may need, or for multiple of the applications that you mentioned. So how do you see the physical robot value add to that? Right.
Yeah, I think I made the analogy of there's a difference between watching Jaws on a big screen and actually swimming with sharks. And what we found and what some of our partners have found is having a physical avatar in front of an elderly person or just any person generates a lot more engagement and natural enthusiasm to engage with a physical object. So that's something that we found. Hopefully that answers.
Yes, sorry, hi, it's Hortense. I was also thinking about, have you ever thought about configuring the robots to have a specific personality, like a specific background, so that it can react in a certain way depending of where it's configured?
100%. So I think I had mentioned deploying at a school system in San Diego and how there were different roles. One of them was sort of a wellness coach designed to soothe stressed out students or even stressed out teachers, because apparently there's a lot of them. And another one is a career coach. Another one is a teaching aid. Each one of those is a distinct persona or personality that we put into the robot. For example, the persona that you guys have been seeing in the demo is what I like to call sassy. It's our sassy Ameca. We also have a sort of core Ameca that's a lot more serious but less fun that we use if I were to present in front of, I don't know, CEO or people who I'm not trying to entertain in more serious environment. We also have the teaching aid ones, like I said. If you were to go to the Rosicrucian Egyptian Museum, you'd be talking to a personality that thinks it is Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom. So 100%. We definitely believe in that, and one thing that we're working on in the future is to make that less of a technical lift. So even someone as dumb as me can come through and put together a persona super easily. Yeah, hi.
Hey, great presentation. My question is about ethics. And, you know, she can do a lot of things, and talking about teachers, and, you know, we all were taught by teachers, and there are things that humans are unique, at least I believe so. So how far is too far? Like what, you know, AI and robotics can do that won't go that far to replace humans? That's my question.
So first of all, I'm about to be really, really pedantic. Ameca's pronouns are it, they, them. Specifically, no, I never said that. Don't apologize, you're good. But also specifically because we're not trying to replace humans. We're here to augment. We're here to assist. We're not here to replace. Do I think that Ameca will replace the human touch or replace a real nurse or a real medical practitioner in that setting? No, heck no. It's there to help fill the gaps. Humans are the bricks. Ameca is hopefully the mortar that flows between them and bonds it all together.
So I feel like a lot of the situations that are covered are kind of one person interacting with the robot, like a single demonstration or a single conversation. But I was kind of curious about applications to where it's interactions where multiple humans are interacting. So one example is like, what if Ameca was like a marriage therapist or something? Now you have like two, as an extreme example, you know, you have two humans that have a relationship with each other, and now there's a robot or event MC or something where it's like, from a technical standpoint, can you model multiple people, and like, how does it manage the relationships that already like exist in the world?
That's an incredibly good question. There's something in sort of the AI world and the robotics world called the cocktail party problem. So for example, right now, if I were to stand here with Cedric and I'm talking to Cedric and someone else were to interrupt, based on body language, based on, you know, the voice, the context, I'm able to tell whether or not it's socially acceptable for me to engage with you. Or if you were just talking to the dude beside you about his really, really awesome CRM system. You know, I can do that. In AI, in robotics, that's a tough problem to solve. Now, we're working towards that. We have cameras in the eyes. So right now, because the lighting is kind of difficult, you can't really see this, but Ameca's trying really, really hard to make eye contact with people. That's because there's cameras in the eyes, and we're using media pipe, but can't really see anything, so it's just randomly gazing right now. Second thing is we are able to do speaker ID, so we can tell the difference between me talking to Ameca or Cedric talking to Ameca. With those two things, we can move towards that. We've gotten good tests where in a conference room setting, Ameca can act as a facilitator or a note taker or a moderator. But really, in a real world, unfettered situation, that's an extremely hard problem to solve. Can I see Ameca be a marriage therapist? God, I hope not, but no, but in a 2-to-1 situation, I could see that working pretty darn well. But if it were in a crowd, in a true cocktail party, where I'm trying to talk to Ameca and someone's trying to interrupt, or someone's actually just happens to be passing by and just talking, we have not quite solved that yet. Yeah.
All right. We have,
there's a gentleman up front in the...
One more question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So.
I realized that this seems to be like a human report for robots, but it's fine.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So
and
yeah, I was mentioning that at the beginning you used the word soul, and I was curious, how do you as a company define this word, and what's the difference between soul and emotion and human-looking reaction from a robot?
So I'm about to get a little more philosophical than technical. Yeah. Oh, yes, please. And a cigar, too. And we're in California, so maybe some THC. No, but these are my views, not my company's views. Because I believe that the definition of the soul comes down to every single different person having their own definition. My definition might be different than your definition. Now, when we say that the other robots don't have a soul, I'll be real honest. That just came out of our pitch deck. Like, we're trying to grab the attention of a VC. That's not meant to demean anything or really try to set the tone that we know what a soul is and those companies don't. That's just marketing. I mean, what else is the pitch deck for, right? But as far as souls and emotions and everything else, Ameca does not exhibit true emotion. Ameca exhibits simulations that allow us as humans to connect with it. Does it actually feel something? No. Does it express itself in a way that elicits emotions from the humans interacting with it? Yes. So hopefully that sidesteps some of the philosophical stuff and centers on company philosophy.
All right. So I'll get your question, but I have one question for Cedric, because we work together daily, pretty much. I'm impressed by your demo, especially because you have short time to work on it. What was the most challenging part that you like, oh, I thought this was going to work, but it's not working? Was there any particular piece that you were like, this is not going to work? And
that's a good question. So first of all, I did not code it entirely from scratch. I started from an existing template we have that was created by some of my colleagues, which was a basic, I mean, when I say basic, I mean the basis was an Azure OpenAI speech plus RAG web-based demo. And so I started with that, and I got rid of the UI. So I basically deleted everything. And I, to be honest, it was very experimental. To be honest, when I started, I didn't even know what I was going to land with, because I really started with like, oh, am I going to go with like a Raspberry Pi? I have a 3D printer at home, and so I was like, am I going to 3D print like something. But I didn't have the time. It was just impossible. So when I tried to figure out some kind of like virtual avatar, I literally searched on the web virtual avatar, like web-based 3D, not even 3D, like avatar, to find a bunch of stuff. And then I stumbled upon a project called Ready Player Me, which allows to create avatars pretty easily. You connect to the website to take a picture of your face, and then you get, if you select a few options, and then you get a body of an avatar. And in the case, it was me, and I put a jean and put a yellow pullover, and then I was like, okay, how am I gonna make something with that? And I used a lot VS Code Copilot. To be honest, the initial version, I mean, I'm sure all of you know Azure AI, which I also use a lot, and I compare the two quite often. And recently, GitHub Copilot made tremendous progress. Now, the agentic system allows to code pretty much an entire ask by itself. It's very impressive. And so I used a mix of searching for examples, using Ready Player Me demos, using GitHub Copilot, and luckily enough, those 3D avatars have been around, and there are quite a lot of examples available on GitHub that the models have been fine-tuned with it and been trained with it. So I don't know. I guess the most challenging part, surprisingly, was not so much the avatar and the 3D in the virtual world part of it. It was more getting the system prompt correct to get it to express the most naturally possible. That surprisingly was actually the hardest part for me. Because integrating the tools, because I had experience prior integrating tools with non-speech AI, such as GPT and their variations. So the tool aspect of it was relatively easy. But yeah, making it look real, like making it look fun and engaging and a nice experience was the hardest part, definitely.
I also want to give Cedric a lot of credit. He was the one who thought of having the AIs interact with one another, which I found pretty fun. So many credits to Cedric for that.
That was very cool.
Okay, great. Hi. Thank you. Super impressive all around. One question that kind of came to mind is you use this analogy of mortar and bricks. Especially with the deployment of the humanoid robot in real life settings. Have you seen any evidence, or is there any research already about how interacting with a humanoid form actually then changes expectations that humans have in interacting with other humans?
To be honest, I have not seen any studies along those lines. The things that I've been reading up on are more around acceptance, and we've done a lot of partnership studies with hospitals and other stuff in Europe where it's like, hey, will an old person actually be okay with a humanoid robot just kind of flopping out of the closet at them? Like, the answer is surprisingly yes. I totally expected them to not be okay with interaction. But as far as does it change your interaction with humans, I have not seen any studies. If you know of any, I'd love to read up on it, because I think that's a very valid point and concern as well. Because I know that Netflix has changed how I view movies in the theater. I look for that skip button so quick when there's character development. Jesus, like, get me to the action. But so I'm sure interacting with the humanoid will change the way and you expect how people respond. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I have an anecdote about that. So when you interact with an LLM, when you ask a question, you don't need the question mark. Like, the question mark is literally useless. So now I don't use a question mark anymore. And obviously, I do it only when I use an LLM, but I wouldn't be surprised in a few years down the road, we just stop using syntax that is useless with LLMs when we talk to humans. Sadly, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a consequence. Yeah. Thank you, David.
I have a question regarding Ameca, right? I see that there's a lot of work built on robotics, right? And virtual glasses are getting like better and better every day, right? And I think the most impressive thing here is about the recognition of like faces that Ameca is checking and replying back, right? Do you guys plan to deploy that on virtual reality glasses? And yeah, so then, okay.
We have a virtual version of the robot embedded in our OS, so we can pretty easily, if you wanted to, embed that in virtual reality classes as well. What we found, though, is that the experience is good, but not great. It's the physical thing still very much matters. Like if you wanted to, yeah, you can embed an Ameca model in an iPad, deploy it that way, or a website, or whatever it might be. Yes, that's available, but we still very much want to focus on this because from our experience, this provides the best experience for the humans interacting with it.
And have you guys measured, like on the field, like people saying like, okay, with the real thing and with the virtual thing, how much percentage is the difference if there's...
We get more engagement with the physical thing. The average interaction length is longer. A lot of it is subjective as well. People act more naturally towards the physical one rather than sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but they don't act themselves when it's through the virtual. It's almost like an expectation that this is a video game or something like that. It's small tests, nothing that I would be like, oh yeah, correlation, causation, everything else. She had a question.
So I guess we have time for 2 more questions. And if you don't feel comfortable asking English, maybe we can ask Ameca to translate.
Yeah. Also, I'm happy to stay behind. If people have questions, just pull me aside, and I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah. So I missed like how you did the avatar thing, like for the model that you created like in 2 days. Like what was the name?
I used to create the avatar, the 3D avatar.
3D avatar is the
Yeah,
name
I used a website called Ready Player Me.
Ready Player Me.
As well as Blender.
Blender.
It was my first time using Blender for that, to be honest. But there are plenty of YouTube videos. I just searched frantically for a YouTube video explaining how to import 3D avatar into Blender to add like animations. The one thing I wanted to do, but I didn't have the time, is to do lip syncing. Because what's quite annoying and synchronizing when it's speaking with like some kind of movement. I didn't have the time to do that. It's a bit more complicated, especially in Blender. But yeah, Ready Player Me, Blender, a couple other web-based tools to convert between file formats. I'm a big fan of React for when it comes to front-end development, and there is now an amazing library called React 3 Fiber, which is a library for React that makes it that allows to create 3D model using the 3JS library, but in a React way, which is way easier because when I look at 3JS code, I'm like, I can't do that. So, but React Fiber is actually pretty moderately easy to use, and Ready Player Me provides ready-to-use example to embed an avatar into a React application. So,
all right, thank you, Cedric. So one last question.
So do Ameca guess the gesture detection, and do you use reinforcement learning?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Can you repeat that, please?
Do Ameca can guess the gesture detection?
Can you guess the...
Gesture.
Oh, gesture. Gesture recognition. So right now we're using MediaPipe as our vision model. With the processor that we currently have on Ameca, it's just an Intel i9 NUC mounted inside of it. It doesn't quite have the power to do real-time gesture categorization. What we do when we want to do demos with that, we have a machine learning PC with like RTX 4080 or something in there, and then we can do it. There are small little things it can do. So it draws a bounding box around faces using MediaPipe, and it calculates distance based on the size of the bounding box. And what it tries to do when there's good lighting is it tries to find the closest face and make eye contact with it. But what we also do is we look at that bounding box size, and if someone rapidly grows, that means that they're approaching quickly, so we actually have Ameca kind of recoil. So there's certain little tricks that you can do to make it appear more human or more engaging. The gesture recognition, we can do that, but not right now, right here. Yeah.
So do you use a model from GPT or customize it with transformers?
No, this is just default OpenAI. Like, we're running off of OpenAI's API. Like, we don't even self-host. There's no fine-tuning. It's just some clever prompting.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to thank Cedric and Leo for this great presentation tonight and answering all the questions. So let's applaud them and say thank you. And then don't forget, next month, April 1st, we'll be here as well, May 8th, and then June, July, until the end of the year. So make sure to check it out, the agenda, what we have coming, and let's go and eat and network. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, Leo, for coming.